Greetings, everyone. This is Kevin Su. I'm with my producer, Revilium, and the developers behind the expansive Minecraft mod, Oh, the Biomes You'll Go. Gabe and Corgi, thank you very much, you two, for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So, Biomes You'll Go, as the name suggests, is a mod that adds more than 70 different landscapes to the game. Tell us, what inspired you to create this mod?
It's based off of the title of the Dr. Seuss book, Oh, the Places You'll Go. This was my favorite childhood book growing up. I even have a poster, like a big painting in my room about it because it was such an inspiration to me because it's about like exploration and journey and being on your own and having this adventure. And so for me, that almost just like translated to how Minecraft is. Minecraft is a journey that most people take on their own. Like people play in a single player world and they have their own adventures and their explorations, just like this book that I grew up with.
Can you tell me a bit of your philosophy, your design philosophy for making these mods?
So when it comes to the real life biomes, I do a lot of research. I've spent hours looking up locations in the real world, looking like sometimes I'll just Google like top 10 vacation spots, and then I'll find a spot that looks cool, and then I'll do more research about it. And I think with that, it's a long process, to be honest, because it's hard to get things accurate. If it's something like fantasy, it needs to feel magical. I think a lot with the Nether content, that was a lot easier to do because with the Nether update 116, it gave the Nether a theme. It gave it something to reference. Now, the end content, on the other hand, has been quite a handful for adding the content for that because the only things I really have to reference is Chorus Fruit and Endstone. I almost got to make my own theme for the end. I got to make it my way. This is our Nightshade. I really like the bioluminescence of the biome because it has this blue grass and these sprouts that have these like they just really pop out, and they really pop and they stand out in the biome. They make it look like it's glowing, and they have these like they're almost like a taiga, like a spruce looking tree. And another fun fact about this forest is it's a little bit more dangerous than the others. While you're wandering through this forest, a phantom could spawn and attack you from the skies above.
This end right now, this shouldn't be possible. But I've done some pretty dirty hacks to allow this to happen. But
because the end is one block, like it's endstone. It's not like you've not got layers like grass and dirt you can change individually. This is
right.
Yeah, he spent a long time working on the making sure that the end could do it, and we had to definitely use some tricks up the sleeve.
Whenever he approaches me with an idea, the first thought, is this possible to code in?
Corgi, when you have to turn him down, does it feel like kicking a puppy?
Yeah, sort of, yeah. It kind of does because yeah, I mean, no, it's a yes and no. Like sometimes, but usually I don't. But
I was gonna say, I don't think there's very rare times that we've had to like say no to an idea. And
can you guys tell me a bit about how the two of you partnered up together?
So originally this mod wasn't coded by hand. It was coded using a program named mCreator. mCreator has its faults, as any tool would and any program would. And it just was not getting to where I wanted the mod to be. And then, so in January, I reached out to the modding community. I messaged dozens of modders and reaching out if anyone could help me code the mod because I can't do it on my own. I was not very experienced in Java. I only knew very, very limited things. I really didn't know much, and I needed someone to help me.
I get this message. I was like, who is this? And then I go and I check out his projects. And you mentioned BYG. I was like, I recognize this because, like a month before, I was making a mod pack that had this mod in it. This is where it gets really funny. I knew absolutely nothing. I knew nothing. So I was like, all right. And what went through your mind, Gabe, when you saw how experienced I was? Like, didn't you seem like worried or something? Something like that.
I didn't realize how new he was. But because then that's the thing, I was like, oh, like I think we like got the project like first set up, and then I was like, oh, like, let's start making trees. And he's like, well, I don't know how to do that. And I was like, oh, fun. but that's the thing is like, as Corgi said, is he's a fast learner. He learned how to do all of the world generation stuff within a couple months. He's really put his mark on the mod, and he's made it his own as well. As long as we've made it our own now. Instead of just being me, it's now us, and I really like that.
I'm not gonna lie, there have been like some pretty brutal arguments over like sometimes he wants to do something simple, and I'm just like, no, we're not doing something simple. We're gonna do something wow, you know? So then he kind of I don't know, it's like really interesting.
We do a lot of compromising. We a lot of compromise. Even if like in the moment I'll be like a little salty about it, I still appreciate it because, you know, obviously like, because that's the thing is like I want this to be both something I enjoy and Corgi enjoys. Like it has to be something we both love. One of the biomes that Corgi reached out and was like, hey, I think we should add this was the Mojave Desert, because we often like to put things in the mod that are personal to us. For example, a lot of people don't know, and sometimes people don't even realize that certain features that are real are not. Some people believe they're fantasy. For example, I had someone in our Discord tell us, and they were like, Gabe, like why are you like adding trees after people's names? I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, the Joshua trees. And I'm like, oh, those are real trees in the Mojave Desert. It's a real thing. It's an actual tree. So I think it's really fun because I think the mod almost can teach you history as well in a way. It teaches you about the world, in the real world as well. People will start to learn things that because they don't live in those regions of the world, they can learn about them through our mod. So people who've never been to the Mojave Desert and don't even know what it is can learn, oh, this is a Joshua tree, and that Joshua trees are an endangered species that need to be protected because they're one of the oldest trees in the world. Something I definitely would want to explore in the future is doing like charity events to help raise money for like environmental protection for the mod, because I feel like it aligns so well with the themes and the core ideologies of the mod that to do some kind of charity work for it just makes sense. Our update's called Beauty of Nature. We took this update to revamp a lot of the community requested things.
On the data pack side, it lets you configure like different things in biomes. This update's really going to focus heavily on that configurable aspect.
They can change literally almost anything. You can change what features spawn. Like let's say maybe you want a different kind of flower in the mod to spawn in a different biome, or you don't want that flower to spawn in that biome at all, you can remove it. But then along with this update, our main focus is our Nether and End content, which is why I felt that October 31st would be a great time to release it, because what's more spooky than the Nether and the End? This is one of our newest biomes coming in. It was one of the last ones I worked on recently. It is a beautiful, it's one of my personal favorites from this update that's being added. Well, it has a very simplistic concept. It just feels right. So it has this new quartzite sand, and the quartzite sand works similarly to gravel. When you break it, you have a chance of getting quartz from it. And then these quartz crystals that litter the ground everywhere. When you mine it, they will drop a quartz as well. And then they also, they do a lot of damage in survival. They do about 6 hearts if you touch it. So wouldn't recommend touching them. They're bones that hang from the ceiling, and they have like a rib cage feel to them. They're meant to look like kind of like rib cages.
I noticed the sand doesn't have any gravity to it. Is that going to be something that's going to be added? Or?
So I didn't add gravity to the sand because the logic behind it is that because it's infused with quartz, it's become more stable. I don't know if you noticed, the ceiling is made out of the sand. So if it had gravity, the entire biome would collapse on itself.
Are you both concerned about the update 1.17?
The one thing I'm personally afraid of is that they finalize the JSON system in Minecraft and they turn everything into a JSON data pack format. That would be very... it's a new system we would have to adapt to, and we would have to rewrite the mod again, basically. Because they started this in 1.16.2, this process of they've been transitioning things into this JSON format. But I personally think they're going to keep the format they have because it works really well.
The JSON thing, if everything switched to JSON, is like, yeah, that'll be annoying, but I'm more excited for it than nervous because I can't wait to get my hands on the new systems that they're going to put in place.
Yeah. if I'm speaking technical, yeah, I'm really excited to see. There's a lot of speculation if they're going to do 3D biomes. Are they going to increase the world height? Are they going to go negative world height, like negative 128 or something? Because that update's going to be massive. And I'm telling you, BYG is going to take advantage of some of that content.
How do you feel knowing that you two have created something that exists across hundreds of thousands of Minecraft worlds?
Oh, for me, it's a dream come true. It's one thing I would love to tell 12-year-old me was to it's just that it's worth it. Like all the hours you spent into like doing things is that you finally it worked. It's surreal. That's the right word. It's surreal to see that 400,000 people. I remember when I was little, I was so happy when I got 100 downloads. The first 100 was really meaningful to me, and to see now that it's grown from only 100 downloads to 400 downloads on CurseForge, it really means a lot. It's just really special to me. I've heard that we have hundreds of thousands of downloads on these on like Russian, Chinese, and like Mexican, or not Mexican, but like Hispanic websites as well that we don't even know about. So
right.
You could very well have you on millions of worlds then.
Yeah.
And I think that for me is like really cool, because I think the national outreach is really like phenomenal. I really I don't know, I think it's just really cool to see videos in different languages, and like I have no idea what they're talking about, but they sound so ecstatic to be playing with the mod and stuff. Like they like it enough to make a showcase on it. Like I think that's really cool. And on top of that, it's like knowing that because coding is like an art, like my coding art is like in their world and they're playing with what I've made. I think that's really phenomenal.
Yeah, same.
What would you say to anyone who would be interested in getting into the modding scene on Minecraft?
Don't be afraid to make something simple. I think a lot of times, because I've helped out new modders before, that they have these grand ideas. I started the biome mod as a flower mod. I added 5 flowers, and then I made more flowers, and then I made a tree. You have to start when you're first starting out. I think you get really overwhelmed by the concepts that you want to create, and you want to put them in the world, and you want to picture them right that instant. You want them to be there. But the reality is that you have to take things slowly, especially if you're new, because you're going to get overwhelmed really quickly.
I really like how you guys put your heart and soul into it though. It just shows in your work, because everything's quite it's done nicely. All the trees custom, everything flows nicely. It's just nice, bro, honestly. Yeah. Congrats on it. I'm impressed.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a journey, but it's been really fun, and I'm really excited for upcoming content.